Stories bring smiles and tears. They engage and they add value. They steal hearts and sell dreams. Storytelling is powerful. Meet Fatima. My family and I went to Morocco on holiday 2 weeks ago, and we met Fatima and we travelled through the Arica Valley and visited the Atlas Mountains. Fatima lives in a clay hut with her 10 grown-up children and has a chicken, a rabbit, and a donkey. She very kindly offered us refreshments, and we gratefully accepted. It was a stiflingly hot day, and we travelled a long way. So she brought out this traditional fresh mint tea and this homemade bread and butter and honey. And it was amazing. It tasted divine. Have you ever seen honey when it's freshly made? And it just kind of dripped onto the bread and melted in our mouths. Last week, I was in the kitchen with my 14-year-old son. His head was in the larder because he eats every 8.5 minutes. And he said to me, "Mum, that lady we met in Morocco, Fatima, I'm not sure her honey tasted any better than what we get in the supermarkets over here." And I kind of went into shock mode, and then I went into defensive mode and defending Fatima and her kindness and the honey. And I thought maybe, gosh, he's right. You know, maybe it was everything around Fatima, the story around her, that had kind of elevated the taste of that honey in our minds. And then he said to me, "Mum, do you think it was all that experience around Fatima that made it taste better?" And my shock turned to pride, and I thought, we've got a mini marketer in the making here. Storytelling is powerful. And it's why cavemen thousands of years ago sat round campfires and told tales. And it's why BGT contestants find that emotive backstory when they're nearing the finals, because they want to create connection and trigger empathy. It's why artisan food producers can charge £4.50 for a slice of cake, because they talk about the quality, locally sourced, ethically sourced ingredients. It's why children are soothed to sleep at night with a bedtime story, and why adults turn to books for escapism. It's why I've just opened with a story rather than saying, "We're school marketing specialists and here's 20 bullet points about us." It's why I fell in love with Fatima and her bread and butter and honey. And it's why brands and influencers are turning to storytelling to sell their products in an era of shortened attention spans and immense media fragmentation. Seth Godin, the American writer and entrepreneur, famously said, "Marketing is no longer about the stuff you make, but about the stories you tell." And it's no different for schools. In fact, your product is children and young people, and they do all sorts of crazy, weird things. Yes, they learn, hopefully, at your school, and they do art and music and science, but they also have gorgeous little smiles, and they make crazy quips, and they have crazy imaginations and dreams and aspirations. Tell their stories. In your roles as school marketing and admissions professionals, undoubtedly, you will have heard families when they've joined your school say, "It just felt right." That feeling, that kind of intangible ephemeral sort of something, that feeling about your school, it's really powerful. As Ian Hunt, the chair and CEO of Haileybury, Kazakhstan, recently said to us, parents buy with their hearts. You know, they go through that sort of tick box of, you know, does it have the facilities? Do we like the head? Do we like the teachers? Does the school have the results? But ultimately, they buy with their hearts from the feeling they get about a school. We're going to try and play a video for you now from the International School of Stuttgart, but there's an enormous chance that that could go wrong, but let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very important research question.
Why the International School of Stuttgart?
Typically, we say A, B, C, D, and E.
But this answer has not satisfied our leading expert.
We believe we have found the missing link. Drum roll, please.
The feeling.
What?
But we are in Germany, and parents want logic. Science. Facts.
The feeling, the feeling, the feeling. We believe it is built into the system, into the very earth beneath our feet.
The presumptive conclusion is, feeling is a word used to describe fitting in.
Oh, my molecule! A social animal.
Humans thrive in an environment.
Yes, yes, falling to feel included.
Part of a whole.
Yes, genius!
Okay, we'll just play you that snippet. But, you know, you can see it really tells a story. The students come across as really sparky and creative, and they show their setting without kind of directly showing it. And they embrace humour. You know, they take the mick out of the German stereotype. So it's a very engaging video, and, you know, it's all to describe that feeling about a school. And as we know, as Ian Hunt said, that feeling pulls at those heartstrings, which ultimately makes or breaks a parent's decision about a school. And the great thing is that that feeling can be ignited through powerful storytelling. So as we're sat here in beautiful rural Cirencester, we're telling you that you have the opportunity to pull at those heartstrings and create that feeling and really, really tell those stories about your school.
Okay, but how do you do that? That's the question. So this afternoon we're going to share 3 killer takeaways with you that are going to show you how to do that. But we are aware that this is the graveyard shift. We've been waiting all day to stand up here, so we're going to keep it super brief. But what we're going to share is going to be really game-changing for your school. So if you just give us your attention for the next 20, 30 minutes, you're going to be glad that you did. So the first one, the power of 3. So to kick us off, a question. So who amongst us here finds it difficult to know what to talk about in their school marketing, or how to articulate what's really special about your school? So if anyone wants to put their hand up. Brilliant, okay? And just to let you know, we see this all the time. You are not alone. Lots of schools struggle with this. As part of the work that we do with schools, we conduct marketing audits. And we often find schools just trying to tell us too much. They have a vision, a mission, values, beliefs, traditions, core messages, key values, principles. The list is sometimes endless, and it's just too much. We were working with a school just last week, and I think we counted up between us that they used approximately 32 different adjectives to describe who they are as a school. And it's this sort of lack of clarity, this verbose sense of storytelling, which just really leads to a very diluted story and makes it incredibly difficult for the school marketer amongst us to know what on earth it is that you should be talking about. And the power of 3, this is a brilliant approach to solve this. It helps you to crystallise your school story, build your brand, and ultimately sell your school to families, because that is what you need to be doing. And here's the thing. People remember things in threes. Just do it. Vorsprung technique. Impossible is nothing. Every little helps. I'm loving it. You know, these are slogans and messages from big brands that we hear every single day. So don't just take it from us. This stuff really works. And I remember recently Emily was telling me about a conversation that she'd had with Tom Dawson, headmaster at Sunningdale Prep School down in Berkshire. And for those of you who don't know, Sunningdale is a successful boys' prep, but Tom approached us and said, you know, we've got fantastic facilities, we get the boys to the best senior schools, we're killing it on the sports pitch, we've got everything going for us, but we just can't get our brand out to people. We've got a story, but we just can't tell it. So we conducted a discovery call with Tom and some of his senior team where we really dug deep, questioning and challenging them on what is it that makes Sunningdale so, so special. And as a team at Stickman, this is one of our absolute favourite things to do, because this is when we hear those spine-tingling stories, which to you guys, because you're in school and you're hearing them all the time, might seem mundane or run-of-the-mill, but have us hearing it fresh, going through an absolute myriad of emotions. We laugh, we cry, we laugh again. We've been working with a school in Bermuda, actually, and as we were putting the key messages presentation together for them, we sat around together as a team and we went over again the beautiful stories that they told us about their approach to teaching and learning and how they care for the children in their school. And I'm not ashamed to say that at any given moment, at least one of us, or sometimes all of us, were in floods of tears, because it really is that powerful. And this isn't a Sunningdale, this is a small prep school in Bermuda who are struggling to find those right fit families. But the point is, every school, no matter how big or how small, has a unique and powerful story to tell. And I've just said it, but I will say it again, this is something that we absolutely love to do as a team. So back to Sunningdale. So after the discovery call, we then engaged with their parent body to gain their perspective on what it is that makes that school tick. And, you know, by the way, that's absolutely vital, because their insight is key. Their opinions are so, so important, because they are your market. And if you don't understand your market, you're never, ever going to be able to successfully sell your product. So once we'd done that, we got back together as a team. We always lock ourselves away for about a week, what feels like a week. And we, together, we digest the combined parent and staff research, back and forth, brainstorming, changing it around until we come up with a really killer concept for that school, whichever school that we're working with. And we did that for Sunningdale. And the concept that we came up with was Ignite Your Spark. For us, that's what summed up that school. And we also developed a crystal clear set of USPs for them as well, which really summed up their offer to families, their unique offer to families. And this is how it played out. So ignite your spark through friendship, through curiosity, and through challenge. But we never stop there. We always define the context behind that concept, because it's this that counts. It's what you guys do as a school each and every day to live and breathe those key messages that make three little words so, so special. And when we help a school to do this, it is immensely rewarding for both them and for us, as well as being really exciting and a massive sense of relief for them to know that they are talking about the right things in their school marketing and telling that epic story. They go from confused to having absolute clarity and being super excited to share that story with prospective families. So, another question. Who here thinks that they've got their key messages sorted? Brilliant, okay. It doesn't have to be three, but who thinks they've got a killer set of, of core messages nailed? Yeah, because it's really hard, which is why only a few of you have put your hands up. So to illustrate this point, we're going to play a little game. And for those of you who know us, there are quite a few people in here who we've worked with. We'll know that at Stickman we like to play games. So I'm going to show you the next slide for approximately 10 seconds. I want you to have a look at it and then have a think and see how much of what's on that slide you can remember. Okay? Here we go.
We're not giving prizes, by the way.
And I'm also not counting. Okay, did anybody remember all of them? So the likelihood is you probably remembered 3, 4, 5. Smarty pants of you may have remembered, 6 or 7, but the likelihood is you didn't remember very many of them. So now we're going to repeat that exercise, and I'm going to show you a different slide, and it's the same process. Have a see how much you can remember. Now that was much easier, right? And that's because the power of 3 is so powerful. But what's even more powerful is when those key messages are embedded across your whole school and everyone and everything is telling the same story. But how to do that is another takeaway for another day.
Okay, so on to your second takeaway, and that's about bringing your stories to life. So here's a brutal truth, and one worth remembering. Prospective families don't care about your school. They care about what's in it for them and their child. Another brutal truth is not enough schools are telling exciting stories. So we want to see if you're passing the So What test. So let's pretend you're writing copy for a social media post and you have prospective families in mind. Many schools might put something like, we have excellent extracurricular activities. Quite frankly, so what? What is in this for prospective families? And can't they find this at every other independent school in the land? So how might we make that better? How might we improve it? Well, a super easy, super quick test is just to apply the So What test. And it's so simple. You write copy and you just ask yourself or get a colleague to ask you, what's the so what about that? What is in it for your prospective family? So let's try that again. We have excellent extracurricular activities. So what? Well, this means that pupils are opened up to new experiences, their imaginations are sparked, and their confidence soars. Okay? Do you see the difference? The story went from sort of being features focused to benefits focused for your audience. People only care about what's in it for them. Okay? Another great way of bringing that to life is pupil stories and, telling a story about a pupil who's living and breathing one of your extracurricular activities and the benefits of that. So the first thing to do there would be to give the pupil, him or her, a name. Let's say Toby, who's taken up cricket as one of his extracurricular activities. And giving the story a protagonist in this way is a really great way of creating a connection between the reader or the listener and the story, because parents are going to imagine their child in that situation. Next, describe the activity, really bring it to life and really find your inner drama here. So something like, what a beautiful summer's evening, perfect for a game of cricket. On the sun kissing the pitch, and you could smell the freshly mown grass on our beautiful grounds. Put yourself in that situation. Next, describe Toby's progress. People love stories about transformation. People marvel over before and afters. Look at hair pictures, before and after, or home makeovers, or I personally like looking at weight loss before and afters, but maybe that says too much about me. So Toby's progress might be something like, for an 11-year-old who'd never touched a cricket bat 2 months ago, Toby's now hitting sixes and leaving his coach, Mr. Pickett, again, give each character a name, open-mouthed in awe. Then describe the benefits for Toby. So it would seem Toby's found his thing. His soul is being nourished and his self-belief is rocketing even higher than his sixes. And then tell the listener or the reader how it feels. You know, we were bursting with pride. We couldn't wait to tell Toby's parents because we knew they'd be so proud, they'd be so stoked. So compare that to, we have excellent extracurricular activities. And it's the same with how I described Fatima at the start. You know, I gave her a name, we described the setting, how hot it was. Tell your stories in this way, and we guarantee you'll touch those parents' hearts. I'm going to play you another video now by Epsom College, and this is an example of a school really digging deep to tell their story. It always makes us cry, Stickman, so we'll try and control ourselves, and hopefully it's going to play okay. So did you see how they brought that story to life by showcasing the stories of those pupils? You know, that you could see that trepidation as that little boy walked up to that microphone, or the anticipation ahead of that exam starting, or the fear in that girl's eyes as she entered that boarding bedroom for the first time. And then 55 seconds in, you see those breakthrough moments. He knows he can answer those exam questions, or the hockey player scores that goal. And it's all climaxing to that dramatic silence at the end, and the big fat key messages appear on screen. It's a real emotional punch in the heart. Now that's really powerful storytelling. So that's your second takeaway. Bring your stories to life.
Okay, so your third takeaway, we want you to be real and have fun with your school marketing, because being authentic and not too polished is so, so powerful for storytelling. We want you to talk about real people in your schools doing real things. Now, Nike, for example, are masters at this and have been doing it for well over 20 years. They know better than to just continually shove their product down their consumers' throats. So from their Just Do It campaign or to their more recent Play New campaign, which some of you may have seen, they clearly understand that what makes a lasting impression, what helps to build their brand and help them sell more products in the long term, is to tell an authentic story. So we're going to hopefully, again, play you another video just to illustrate this. Sorry for my bending down here.
You know what? Here's to going for it. And being terrible. Here's to giving it a shot, even though your shot is garbage. To being the queen of the court. Oh, maybe not this court. To feeling the burn, even if there shouldn't be a burn to feel. To trying your best, even though your swing is the worst. Here's to going down way harder than you get back up.
Possibly one more ball.
To giving it your all. Even though you kind of suck. But you know what doesn't suck? Trying to do something you've never done before. That doesn't suck at all. Not even a little.
Sorry, I've gone too far. You just have to put with this black screen for a second. So what that video is trying to show you is real people doing real things and having a go at very unfamiliar activities and having a real experience and real failures. It's, you know, just creating that sense of just have a go, that's what counts. And it's that type of feeling that we want you to emulate in your school marketing. Now, we get it. Nike are obviously a massive multinational company with huge budgets and hundreds of people, probably thousands of people working in their marketing departments. But it's that feeling, it's that feel-good factor that they are so great at creating around their brand. And it's this that you can emulate in your school marketing too. So there are a selection of heads that we follow. We follow lots of schools at Stickman on Instagram. We like to learn from you all the time and incorporate that into what we share with other schools. And there are a selection of heads whom we follow religiously, who are really good at keeping it real and having fun. So we're just going to give you a selection of these now. And the good news is you don't need Nike's budget to be able to do it. You can do it for practically nothing or sometimes nothing at all. So the first of those heads is Peter Middleton. Now, he's headmaster at Oswestry School. And this was a picture of him taken at a recent open day. So here he is with a, pony, a dog and a lamb, I think. He can also be seen sometimes skateboarding around his grounds, looking very cool. And only last week, he took part in a ballet class, which I am going to try and play you now. Again, sorry for this. And yeah, I just heard you say, sorry, I hope you don't mind me pointing you out, that it's the children that make that. Those squeals of delight, that, it's just pure joy. And he is so naturally unnatural in that environment, and we don't know Peter, we've never met him, but from just a few clips and from that video, you get a real sense of what he's like as a man, what he's like as a head, and what sort of school he leads. And parents absolutely lap this up. So next up, we've got Ben Evans, headmaster at Windlesham House School. So he can be seen often creating videos on horseback. We've seen him in a golf buggy, on a sledge, on a zip wire, once on the rooftop of his school. And he does all this on his smartphone. But what he does so well every time is all of these videos are wrapped up in a lovely, warm message, which really helps him to sell the story about his own school. And then finally, we have...
Yes, Mrs. Thompson, full steam ahead for September,
Sorry,
yes.
let me just
Everything's
pause
normal. Indeed, dormitory.
Okay, so we've got Tom Rodgison. So for those of you who don't know Tom, he is headmaster at Cottesmore Prep in West Sussex. And he really is a whiz at having fun and keeping it real in his marketing. His posts are innovative. He showcases himself as a warm and charismatic head. But what we really like is that he never ever fails to seize the opportunity to showcase his brand, which you can see here, and what you'll see in the video. He showcases his brand, his wonderful facilities, and his beautiful school.
And just look at that shot there. You know, it's completely around in the Cottesmore brand.
And we've shown this video before. Some of you may have seen us show it before, but when we were deciding whether to include it or not, we applied the so what test, which Emily talked about before. You know, so what are people going to get from this? But it perfectly captures the essence of the point we're trying to make here, which is to have fun. So I'm going to play it for you now.
Trees boarding all on. Yes. Yes, you challenged me to jump in the lake. No, I'm definitely not doing it. I know. Yes, I know. A few corona pounds, nothing major. No, I can't get an appointment. Yeah, I've got a full-on mullet. I have to tuck it into my collar for Zoom calls. All right. Yes, indeed, yeah. It's the end of what? It's the end of the school year. Of course. Anyway, thank you. Have a lovely summer holiday. Bye. Okay, bye. The end of the school year. It's the end of the school year. It's the end of the school year. It's the end of the school year!
Okay, so we're not suggesting for a moment that you go back to your schools and tell your headmasters or your headmistresses that they need to go and find a lake to jump in. But the point is, keeping it real, having fun is going to really help to differentiate your school and help you to tell a really great story. And you might also be thinking, lake or no lake, there is absolutely no way my head is going to do anything like that. But there are ways for the less extrovert head to keep it real and still have fun. So you might consider something like a spotlight on the head video. So pupil interviewing your headmaster or headmistress, always pull at the heartstrings. Just a simple set of questions from, you know, what's the best thing about our school, sir? Or what's the thing you love most about your job? With some funny questions thrown in for good measure. What's your favourite pair of socks? Or where do you like to go on holiday? Something like that. So that allows the less extrovert head teacher to still be real and have fun via the pupils, while still giving them the opportunity to wax lyrical about their school and share what they think is really great about it. So ticking the school promotion box at the same time. You might also consider behind-the-scenes videos. So, you know, everybody loves a good nose, often into those unforeseen, sometimes, you know, considered forbidden places within a school. So get your camera out, show parents those things that they never think that they would normally get to be able to see. So your school facilities, it could be your attic or your cellar, the boys' toilets, whatever it is that they wouldn't normally get to see, show them, you know, bring them into your school. And, you know, you will have all noticed during lockdown, there was lots and lots of this content around, normally videos from heads and staff, as you all frantically scrambled around looking for that content that was going to keep that connection with your families. And as we hopefully come out of the other side of COVID, you know, we want you to keep that going, because this type of content is absolute gold dust for letting families under the skin of your school and, you know, helping them to form lasting relationships with the key members of staff who are going to be looking after their children day in, day out. So, you know, keep it real, have fun, and you really will see your storytelling go to the next level.
Okay, I'm not sure about the boys' toilets, but you know what the behind-the-scenes areas are for your school. So that brings us to a close, and so that's the power of 3. Bring your stories to life, and be real and have fun, you know? So what we invite you to do now is write those down and put a date against just one of them when you're going to action it, okay? Just do it. And let us know if you want to ping that to us. You know, let us know on Instagram or just email us your stories across. And just one final thought is that there are gazillions of ways you can market your school, from Facebook ads to billboards to leaflet drops. But there's one consistent feature that's always going to be the cornerstone of good school marketing, now and in the future, and that's telling a powerful story. So we invite you to tell yours, just like Fatima did. Thank you for listening.